Welcome to the Business of Apparel podcast. This is the place to learn how to start and scale your own apparel brand and fill it with loyal customers for years to come. I'm your host, Rachel Erickson, owner and CEO of Unmarked Street, and I can't wait to share this episode with you. Welcome back to the Business of Apparel podcast, where today I'm just kind of opening up my day to you and letting you see a little bit behind the scenes of what is going on here at the Business of Apparel and at Unmarked Street. So you've probably heard the saying, be careful what you wish for, right? And if you've been listening to some of our Money Monday episodes, you know that every once in a while I can kind of get into this woo-woo space about how, the universe is conspiring for you, especially if you ask it for the right things and you're very clear with the universe about what it is that you want. We recently held our mid-year company meeting. So every year I try to hold a meeting in like late June, early July with the entire team, walk them through kind of how the year is progressing, where are we standing against our goals. We kind of always go back through our company values and our company mission statement, like why are we all here? We go back through, who's on the team and who's contributing what. And so we recently had that meeting. And I was really clear with the team that our new big goal as we moved forward was going to be building out our annual membership. It's something that we are very, very passionate about. It's something that we are seeing a lot of success in for the people who are coming in as members. It is just lighting us up as a brand. It's something that we knew we could really help startup brands and emerging brands and people who were at that plateau point and really needed to be able to figure out next steps, while getting advice from us, letting us sit in on what we're calling their board of directors, basically like we're their advisors, right? And they're getting it at a price that is ridiculously cheap. So that's what we wanted to be able to offer, right? Like something that was low price, easy to access. We can touch more people with it. We can make sure that we're helping the most amount of people as possible. And with that comes the idea that everything else kind of has to either be priority number 2 or less. And so those are hard decisions to make, especially because Unmarked Street and our done for you side of our business has been really successful recently. We got a couple of bigger contracts in March, and we've had some amazing clients on our books for years who continue to come back over and over again. And so I ended up saying to the team, I just want to be very, very clear that our only goal as we move forward is attracting more and more people into this annual membership because we see so much success with it. We know how much we're helping people. We know how much money people are saving. We know how much money people are making when they join the board with us. And so we wanted to focus on that 100%. And I was also very clear that that meant, number one, we're not going to be less reliable to our standing clients. I made sure that is very clear. One of our standing values, one of 3, is reliability, right? So honesty is number 1, which is why I'm being really transparent with you here. Let's be upfront. Let's talk about what's going on in the business right now. Honesty is number 1 with kindness and love always behind it. You don't have to be honest and mean. Now you can be, I know a lot of people can be, but honest and mean is just not what we do. We try to do honesty from a place of wanting you to have the truth, wanting you to have the facts, wanting you to have the knowledge, not trying to degrade you or put you down or anything like that. We're not trying to be brutally honest. We're trying to be lovingly honest. So that's one of our values. Our second value, though, is reliability. If we tell you we're going to do something, we are sure going to do it. And you can rely on us. So if you're a client of ours, if you ask us to do something, it gets done. And it gets done at the highest level that we can possibly offer to you. Whether you are the lowest paying client on our books or whether you are the highest paying client on our books, it gets done with the same amount of gusto and care and love that we would put into any contract or any type of work. And so reliability, while that being one of our values, what we can't do is completely walk away from what we're providing for our clients, right? And because of the big contracts that we had signed back in March, our team is pretty maxed out at this point. We were looking at hiring. I had just hired a new marketing team. We had kind of upped what we were doing on the YouTube channel. I had been paying for some additional brand stuff. We're looking at starting ads again later in the year. I'm paying my finance team. We brought in a couple new team members. There was a lot that was kind of going on and that we were starting to be able to build by bringing in those new clients. And so our team meeting was actually pretty big. It was a robust meeting. We had quite a few people in the room. We talked through all of the people's different roles. But I did have to be clear that acquiring more clients had fallen to priority number 2. We were going to be acquiring members for the board. that is number one, our goal as we move forward. So if you've been interested in joining the board, know that you're our priority right now. Like, we are putting everything into making sure that we can serve you to the highest possible service that we can provide. And so by saying that and making that very, very clear, I think the universe kind of took that and said, oh, okay, that's what we're going to work on now. We're going to work on bringing people into the board, which is great. We hope that we will be seeing that just as quickly as we saw the flip side of that, because the universe also decided to take our 2 top paying clients and have them decide to not renew their contracts as we move forward. And these are actually happy circumstances. We like to get our clients to a point where they feel confident enough in the processes that we've built for them, in the product that we've built for them, in their way of working. We've shown them exactly how it is that they need to work moving forward to kind of emulate what we've been doing for them. And then they feel like they can pull that work in-house. Now, because we work for such big brands, this is normal for us. And this technically tends to be the goal. We will sign ongoing contracts, but one of them, the biggest one that we're actually going to be losing a little bit early, was a very specific 1-year contract. It was for us to come in, emulate how a PD team should work, get them set up, get them organized, write the processes, write the calendars, get their team into a place where it was feeling really good, and then actually help them hire full-time team members, onboard them, and then we would exit. That was the plan. The problem is that we're seeing that plan be executed 6 months earlier than we expected. And so we're losing basically 6 months of time in being able to build up the board membership, which is still very new for us. It is working and we're loving everything that we're doing in it, but we just kind of launched this annual membership back in March. So, I mean, we're only 3, 4, 5 months in to actually having this membership, as opposed to being, almost 4 years into doing client services with some of these people. And so I think the universe kind of went, okay, you're going to focus on this board membership. We are going to honor that for you. You are clear on this goal. We are taking that seriously. So we're going to clear a path for you. And this probably sounds really woo-woo, and maybe I'm just being way too optimistic about this situation. That is, it's tough. As a freelancer, as a contractor, this is the world that I live in. We are always on the lookout for shifting contract terms. People at any point can decide that, they're going to bring people in-house and hire full-time employees instead of keeping us on contract. People can decide that, their budgets aren't doing well. Maybe we've had a couple different clients who mismanaged their money, and so they ended up having to shut down their business. And that's part of it for us. Like, we have to be ready and willing to take on the fact that we might not have work in the same way next month as we did this month. And that is just 100% the reality of it. But I kind of wanted to walk you through a little bit what I've been doing in this situation, because it is a tough one, losing 2 of our biggest clients and focusing our efforts on building something that is not 100% like rolling yet. Like, that sales machine isn't running. We don't have like bazillion people coming in every single month. We're still figuring out the messaging so that you understand how valuable this membership is. It's not clicking with anybody yet. Or we're also seeing that the economy is really tough. So people aren't really spending their dollars going into coaching programs, even though I will say, to the end of the world, like, that is how you should be spending your money when things are tough. That's where I'm spending my money. And that's where I'm not moving any of my money, because I know how important my coaching and my support is and my advisors are. And if I don't have them, especially in times like this, when things are really tough, like, I get really stuck. And so if I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of, or people who have been in this situation before helping me understand what the next steps are, it becomes nearly impossible to feel like you know what to do next. Are you sick of being stuck on the sidelines of the apparel industry and you just want to be put in the game? Then join our 100% free workshop, Secrets Behind Billion-Dollar Apparel Brands, and learn the strategies, tactics, and secrets used by the most successful companies in the world. We'll cover everything from setting your brand standards to big brand line planning and executive level processes. In this workshop, you're going to learn how to name your target customer, rationalize your line, calculate product margins, roll up your revenue, and see potential profits, while figuring out how to build a unique calendar for your brand. You're going to learn that and so much more. Are you ready to take your apparel business to the next level? Sign up today and use code PODCAST for a 10% discount on the full Business of Apparel online course or any of our mini courses after the workshop. Visit www.thebusinessofapparel.com/secrets to register. Don't miss out. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. So what I've been doing for the rest of this morning, I kind of got the news yesterday from one of our clients that we were going to be rolling off of their contract 6 months earlier than planned. And so what I've been doing is going back through my books. And this is something that I've been talking about since the beginning of the year when we started seeing tariffs come out. It's really, really important for you as a business owner to know your numbers in 3 different ways, I believe. Number one, I believe you need to be really realistic. Like, what is the money that I have actually coming in? What is that money promised to me? Like, what do I know I'm making every single month or every single year? And then what are my known expenses? That to me is a very realistic financial plan. If you have a P&L, like a profit and loss statement that you work in, I work in that like almost every single day. I'm up in my P&L all the time, making sure that my numbers make sense, making sure that I understand where we are financially. So if you can look at that, number one, in the most realistic way, like this is the plan. This is what it looks like my month to month is going to be this year. This is what it looks like my year is going to end with if I don't make any extra sales or if I don't spend any extra money. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is to go pie in the sky. What are my sales goals then? What do I want to bring in to the company in the way of profits and then in the way of gross revenue to hit a pie in the sky like dream number? And so our number this year was $2 million. What would it look like to be a $2 million company? I'm going to tell you right now, that was way too pie in the sky. We are not going to hit that, at least not without something really, really changing in the next 5 to 6 months. I'm not saying it won't happen, but right now it's not looking like we're going to hit that pie in the sky goal. But what that does for you when you're setting up your finances is it helps to give your team goals. It helps to drive everybody toward something. It helps you to define what you would do with that money. Let's say we did start to hit, $85,000 months. Let's just say that. So let's just say we're projecting a $1 million year. $85,000 a month. What am I spending my money on for $85,000 a month? Who am I hiring? What kind of advertising are we doing? What kind of marketing can we do? Can we host events? Can we go to events? Can we travel a little bit more? There are a lot of different things that you can look at and start to dream up if you do like a pie in the sky budget after you have your realistic one. So I believe that that's important because that's like having your financial vision board, right? Like, what am I reaching for? What am I aiming for? What are the possibilities? What can I try to stretch my team into going into? And then number three, I always really believe that you have to have also a worst case scenario budget. And this is like, if I lost these 2 clients that are, kind of up in the air, I don't know if they're going to stay long term. One of the clients has been with us for almost 3 years, and we knew that they were starting to get to a point where they were feeling really, really confident in what they were going to be able to do inside their own business with their team in the way of product development. Like we kind of saw it happening, and it was actually a really good thing, right? Like watching the team take on those roles, step up, start to run their own fittings, start to do their own comments, start to jump into emails a little bit more. Like those are the kinds of things that are great for their company. And so we started to observe it. We kind of started to know that something was going to be coming down the pipeline soon. And so this other one though, that we just kind of found out has decided to hire in-house earlier than we anticipated. Those are the kind of companies that I would look at in a worst case scenario situation. So what happens when those contracts come off of our books and we're not getting paid those monthly fees anymore? What happens then? What do I need to do in the way of team? And so that's what I've been going through today, right? Like, okay, so now I'm taking out the income from these 2 clients. We have like a sales pitch out there right now. And so I've been playing a lot with numbers of like, what happens if we get that? What happens if we don't get that? What do we need to do in the way of marketing? Like, do I need to take marketing all back on myself? This podcast is a huge priority for me. So how do we keep this going, but maybe at a lower budget? Like, how do we figure that out? What kind of subscriptions am I paying for that I can get rid of? There are so many different things that we can look at. And then it becomes also like, what sales goals do we now need to hit? And how many people do we want to be bringing into the board every single month so that it feels sustainable? Number one, we want to give really special one-on-one attention to everyone who comes into the board, especially as they start with us. So what's realistic? Like if we have 5 people come in every single month, can we serve them at the highest level? Because that's our goal. We want to be reliable. We want to be honest. We want to be open. We want to be helping them figure out where they are in their business and what's the next step. And so while we figure those kinds of things out and then figure out where to put our efforts in the next few months, as we decide to put that as our big main goal, we're no longer going to have these client hours on our books. So where are we putting our hours? Those are the kinds of things that I've been looking at all morning. And so when I look at Active Campaign, for example, if you're on our email list, then you've probably gotten one of my campaigns and it comes from Active Campaign. I love Active Campaign. I think it's super easy to use, but I had several different team members in there to be able to help me build automation flows, to help me build some of the email templates. And it saved me a little bit of money to take 2 of those people off of the account so that I end up having to take on some of that work again, but we're going to save every month on that subscription fee. And it's not a ton, but it's a little bit here and there, goes a long way. I'm probably going to have to take a couple of different team members' hours down, right? So we're going to lose a lot of client hours. I want to put some more of their hours into helping us acquire more board members and helping us attract the right people, but it's going to not be at the same level. So I need to start having those conversations too, as a CEO and as a leader with my team members. You're maybe going to go from 40 hours a week to 20 hours a week. And this is what that means. And is that going to be okay? And how can I encourage you to start maybe saving some money and putting a little bit of money aside right now so that while we are a little bit low on hours, before we maybe ramp things back up and we start seeing more income, or we start bringing on more clients, or we start bringing on more board members, and I can get you back up to where you want to be, how do I encourage you to manage that on the personal side of your life too? These are really tough conversations to have, especially because I love my team and I want them to all be full-time salaried employees, at over $100,000 a year. I want to be supporting them in a way that gives them good lives and gives them good jobs and makes them happy to come to work with me and for me every single day. Those are some of my big company goals. I don't want to just be a great place for people to come work with in the way of consulting or in the way of coaching. I also want to be a great employer. And so the people who work at the company with me, I want them to have amazing jobs and amazing salaries. And so having to take some of that away, having to take hours away is just always so crushing. I always feel like that's a really hard one. When it comes to marketing, I will probably be taking a lot of that back. So we might have to be, letting some marketing people go. We were doing some branding and website updates. I am probably going to have to put a pause on all of that. I'm doing some traveling in September to go speak at an event in Atlanta. And I was thinking about maybe bringing a team member or 2 with me. And now our budget is really low. So I'm probably just going to go by myself. There's a lot of little things. And so as I start to go through my budget, I go through both my profit and loss statement to look at, what is the monthly roll up, but I'm also going through my cash flow analysis. What does it look like to pay a little bit less to this person, but also be getting $0 from this client as we move into the next few months. So all of that stuff kind of has to work in conjunction. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot to go through when you have to make pivots and when you have to understand kind of what's next and how to deliver that news to your team. But that's what I've been kind of going through today. I want you to know that if you don't go through your finances in the same way, and you don't know, here's my reality of what is likely going to happen this year. Here's my pie in the sky. If I could make $85,000 in sales in my Shopify store every single month, this is what I would do with my money. This is how much I'd be paying myself. This is how much, I could bring on a team for. All of that kind of stuff is really exciting to look forward to. But I also still always recommend that you know what could happen and where you can pull levers essentially inside your business to make sure that if something does happen where you're losing sales, or maybe you got more returns this month than you really wanted, you know what you need to do to make sure that you are staying as profitable as possible. So that's a little behind the scenes. That's what's going on right here. If you have any comments on it, I would love to hear from you. If you think someone could benefit from listening to this episode today, kind of hearing the nitty gritty of what goes on behind the scenes and kind of opening the curtain on how I handle those situations, it's always tough, but as the leader of a company, it is your job to make decisions and to have those tough conversations and figure out where your money is coming in and going out. That is 100% on you. And it's 100% on me to do that at my business too. So these are all things that if you think someone else would benefit from hearing how that goes, or even just realizing that they're not alone in having to figure some of that out, please share it with them. If you do get a chance to leave us a review, we'd love to hear from our community. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I'm going to go work on some more numbers, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Business of Apparel podcast. I would so appreciate hearing your thoughts on the show. And if you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it with them. My biggest desire is to help other apparel professionals understand the nuances of our industry so we can all work toward making better product for a better world. If you would like to connect further, I'd love to invite you to send me a message through my website, thebusinessofapparel.com, where I do weekly trainings through my YouTube video channel, a weekly newsletter, blog articles, and so many more resources to help you start and scale a profitable apparel brand. This podcast is produced by Box 7 Media, who I cannot speak highly enough of. If you're looking to start your own podcast, you can reach out to Jeremy at Box 7 Media on LinkedIn anytime.